No regrets. It's a hard life, but it's the best life. A lot of my big takeaways have been learning to work with kids with trauma and learning how to love kids with trauma. I worked with kids a lot before. I had taught swim lessons, I'd nannied, babysat, tutored, worked with kids with autism. I felt like I had a lot of experience working with kids, but I had never worked with kids from such detrimental trauma backgrounds. And so learning how to realize that their behaviors are communicating something has been a big takeaway and had to be a big mental shift, as well as learning to connect first with the kids before work. Both my parents are teachers, and so we have like high expectations. You know, you're gonna sit down and finish your homework and then we'll play. We do not play first, ever. But talking with Angela Bryan and being like, no, first you have to build that connection. You have to have a felt safety. You have to help them realize that they can fail. Praising the tiniest things and building the connection is something that is like been ground to my brain working here. Okay, first we'll play the puzzle. First we'll like play with the magnets, and then when you feel safe, we can go back and do our multiple like times 2 tables. And realizing work is second, the connection and emotional healing is always the most important work. I feel like there are lots of little shining moments. It takes a long time to build that connection. I have 2 that really stand out. One literally just happened yesterday. I was working with one of the little girls, and she comes from a place where she didn't have enough. So anytime there's something that she has to share, she likes to hoard it and be like, no, it's mine, because there's not enough to share. I need to make sure I have enough. But yesterday she was playing in my classroom before we were doing homework. Another girl was playing doing a puzzle. The little girl who I'm talking about went over to the girl who was doing a puzzle, and her typical behavior would be to take the pieces of the puzzle and want to jump in and be like, this is mine now. But before she did that, I was like, okay, let's ask to see if Sophia wants us to play with her. The girl doing the puzzle was like, no, I want to do the puzzle by myself. And so I told her, okay, she wants to do it by herself. We can watch her, or we can go back and play. Which do you want to do? Oh, I want to watch her. And she sat there and didn't take any of the pieces and just watched her do the puzzle. And then she praised her friend. Wow, you finished the puzzle. And so I was so thrilled that I got to like praise this girl. You let Sophia play by herself. You saw that she did a good job and you were happy for her. You were patient and you waited. Even though it was the tiniest thing of just sitting there and watching, it felt so big because that's not what she would normally do over many times. So that was for sure stood out. And then another time, there was a girl who just is very clingy. She never had that felt safety. Whenever I would be like, I need to leave, I need to go work now. No, Tia, don't leave. No, one more hug, just one more. No, don't leave. And then anytime I would leave her sight, it would be a big deal. And I would have to be like, okay, count to 100. I'm gonna come back before you finish counting to 100. I just need to go grab something and I'll be right back. And so building little steps. But I remember one of the first times when I was like, okay, I have to go work. I'll be back in a couple of hours. I'll be back by the time you finish your homework. I have to go right now because I have other things I have to do. She was like, okay, one hug. And then she just left and ran off and played and had a great time. And that again felt like a big thing of like, you know that I'm coming back. You don't have to be like, once you leave my eyesight, you're like leaving me forever. So that felt really good too. Do it. I think that it's definitely a hard life. There's lots of things that come up that are unexpected. You have to be super flexible. Again, I think when I came in, I didn't have an expectation of what life was going to look like. You're entering a whole new country and like with a program that's kind of spelled out, but at the same time, you don't have like, here's the exact thing you're going to be doing every day. You have to be really flexible for sure, but the relationships that you build with the kids, with the Tias here, learning a new culture, there's just so much depth of life. There's so much depth of life that I feel like is so amazing. It's the way God made us. The orphans are so close to God's heart, and living that feels like I get to be so close to God's heart. I get to love what He loves. No regrets. It's a hard life, but it's the best life.